of things that could relieve your, possibly not relieve your headache, but something that will help if you guys are going through an emotional turmoil or, you know, you feel like, hey, I want to have a good book to read. So we actually have a good book. We don't have it on the table right now. We're going to get it after the show. But the book has gotten really, really good reviews. So a lot of people don't like reading self-help book, but this was described as not technically a self-help book, more of like a self-help journey. So that's actually very, very interesting.
Very interesting. Hence why we actually brought the author of the book, and he's not just an author actually. Let me read this out for you guys. He's actually an award-winning filmmaker, producer, writer, and philanthropist. His creative abilities have made him one of the most sought-after talents of the 21st century. And we're lucky to have him on with the show. We have Novan JC together with us. Hey, Novan, how are you?
Thanks for having me on the program.
All right.
It's great to be here.
Love your hair, though.
Thank you.
That's the first thing I always have to say to our guests who have lovely hair. So
thank you, sir.
Awesome, because he obviously, you know,
no, I shine in a different way. He shines in a different way.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would love to say likewise, but you know.
Please don't. Please don't.
So yeah, we're going to touch a little bit about your book today. So Make History, How to Make the Most of Your Time on Earth. Very, very interesting book title, first of all, because when I first read it, it was like Make History. I'm like, what history? What history have you made? Because it is described as a self-help book. But in your own words, how would you describe your book? Is that correct, or do you want to like correct the analogy of what your book is about?
Well, the whole reason why the book came about was because essentially 10 years ago, I was in a straitjacket. And I was admitted to University Malaya, and I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
Wow.
And I was in a really painful place, and I didn't know what I could do with my life. And so because I went through so much pain, I decided I wanted to change my life around. I wanted to lose the weight. I wanted to be a better person, essentially. And I read over 500 books. I learned transcendental meditation. And everything that I learned, I journaled. And this book is a compilation or a greatest hits of the best stuff that I've learned. And I didn't want to write a book, but you know, let me ask you guys this. When you find a great video or you find something really funny, what's the first thing you want to do?
I share it.
Share it.
Yeah. I
like it first, I guess.
Like it, and then you want to just share it.
Yeah, just tell everyone about it.
That's what this book is about. I wrote it and I was like, you know what, I just want to share this with people. And that's how the book came about.
So funny you should ask that. Funny you should say that, because again, like you said, that you were diagnosed with like you said, bipolar, right? Yeah, at a very young age.
Yeah.
How did that affect you? I mean, like, it must be something out of the ordinary, obviously, because you're being put literally on the left field. You did not know what was going on, and you had to be admitted. You had to be treated in such a way when you were very young. That must have hit you quite, well, tremendously. Yeah,
it was so painful. It was the ultimate problem, but I think human beings can change their life when they realize that your problem is your gift. Problems are what sculpt your soul.
Okay.
So if you have great times, then you probably won't appreciate what life has to offer.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's my greatest gift. Being admitted, being diagnosed was my greatest gift. It really changed my whole life around.
Yeah.
It made me want to work so much more hard. It made me sculpt who I am today.
Yeah. Nice.
So is there an instance in your, perhaps when you were staying at the hospital, to when you decided to actually pen down your thoughts, your journeys, your life lessons? What was that one memory or one instance that was like, okay, you know what, I'm done. I need to change. I need to be better. To have a better life. What was that moment that you had?
What was that? A Eureka moment, I guess.
It's really hard to pinpoint a moment, but I guess when you're literally in a straitjacket in a hospital, being pinned down, and you're so erratic that they have to inject you, I think it was morphine, or I don't know what it was, to kind of inebriate you. You have to realize that you have to change things around. But it took me like close to a year or even 2 years to realize that I have to change things up. And one of the biggest moments was learning transcendental meditation, which some people might know. It was the meditation that the Beatles were famous for learning in 1968. I learned it, and it changed my life around. And that was just one of the many tools that I learned to kind of get me off of what I was on.
Nice, sweet. Okay, running away from your book a bit, I just want to talk about, again, looking at your CV, looking at whatever it is that you have done is very, very impressive. Again, there's some big names over here. I mean, like, you've worked with the likes of the Beach Boys, you know, the Jacksons, the Frank Sinatra Estate, Bob Dylan, as well as famous actors such as John Stamos. Everybody know who's Uncle Jesse is, Henry Winkler, and as well as Leif Garrett. I mean, like, you've had this opportunity, you have these chances to work with them. How did that come about? Is it just because of perseverance or what you really wanted to do? I mean, like, not everybody got that chance to work with these celebrities. How did that happen to you?
I think with anything in life, especially if you look at money, for example, the amount of money you earn is dependent on the amount of value you provide. So with these people that I really wanted to work with, I provided tremendous value.
Okay.
To the point where they were like, okay, he's giving me so much, let's work together, right? So it stems from how much value you can provide people, how much can you give, how much can you meet their needs. So that's how I look at it. And it started with not me wanting something from them, it was me giving to them. And because I gave so much, we worked together in the end.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Right.
Yeah.
So how did that collaboration came about?
Yeah.
You know, with the advent of social media, it's very easy now. You just find out their management and you reach out to them and you send them stuff, and a whole heap of stuff could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And again, I mean, like, off air, you just explained to us again. You work with the Beach Boys because you produce their videos for their tours.
Yeah.
And then currently, right now, you're actually working with John Stamos to actually promote his book.
Yeah.
Again, you're very much a chameleon when it comes to, you know, the jobs that you do, because you don't do just productions, you do directing as well, you do promotions as well for all these artists. You're basically an all-in-one kind of type, aren't you?
Well, I try to be. I think it's mainly in entertainment, and my real passion, also my passion is psychology and how do we improve the quality of our life.
Yep.
And also understanding that, you know, if anyone's a manager, who've managed before in their life, they realize that if you can't measure something, it's very hard to manage. So I think the ultimate metric in life is to realize that the quality of your life is the quality of your emotions. That's why I'm so obsessed with psychology.
Yeah.
How do we improve our emotions? How do we feel better day to day? Because if you have $1 billion, but your primary emotion is stress, then you failed.
Yeah.
I love that, and I try to, personally for me as well, I try to live a life. A lot of people has like, you know, you're so successful, you've done this. Yes, I've done all of this, but am I truly happy? At the end of the day, do I still want to be in this industry? Because it's a tough industry.
Yep.
You get rejection, you get this, and it impacts your not only your mental stability, but your emotional stability as well. And if you don't know who you are, you don't have that anchor, I believe you're gonna float away and you'll be stressed out, and all the money you've earned feels like it's nothing, right?
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, you look at Anthony Bourdain, you look at Michael Jackson, you look at Robin Williams, people who have mastered the world, they've got all the money, they got all the fame, and Robin Williams hung himself.
Yeah.
Anthony Bourdain hung himself.
Yeah.
So it makes you want to rethink life, right?
Yeah.
They got everything we're aiming for, and yet what happened?
Yeah.
So it makes you want to reevaluate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna tease
Please.
and come back to your book, because I'm actually very interested in your book.
Okay.
Again, I've read a lot of good reviews.
You know you're
and
going to get one, right? You don't have to
You'll
worry
be
about
getting
it.
one. Everyone's getting
but,
one.
But the part that I'm actually very interested in is there's a section in your book where it's purely answering questions. So can you explain to our audiences, when they read your book, what can they expect and what are the questions for?
Yeah. Well, you know, if you think about it, look at thinking. You know, all we do day to day is we think, right? But what is thinking? It's essentially asking and answering a question. And even as I say that, everyone at home is going, they have to ask themselves a question to answer that. So thinking is basically asking and answering a question. If you want to improve your life, improve your questions, right? Like, for example, if you always ask yourself, why can't I lose weight? Well, your body's going to go because, well, your brain's going to go because you're a pig, right? But if you ask yourself, what can I do to improve my health? You'll get a different answer. So if you want to improve your life, improve the quality of your questions. So that's basically why I asked it. And it's also to uncover why you do what you do. You know, we all have software. We all have a blueprint of why we do what we do. And as soon as you uncover that, you'll know you'll get the driving force in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not as easy as one may think in regards of balancing. It's a balancing act, you know. I mean, you want to chase for the best fortunes in the world. You want to make yourself happy as well. I mean, if you have a family, you want to make your family happy as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot of emotions that comes with that. I mean, with that huge baggage, expectation comes in play as well.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult for one who, if they don't know how to balance it well, it can be such a burden to them, and this will only lead to destruction moving forward, you think?
Yeah, but I'm so glad you mentioned the word expectations.
Okay.
If you want to change your life, if you really, really want to change your life, trade your expectations for appreciation. Because when you're in appreciation, when you're in gratitude, you can't be angry, if you've noticed.
Yeah.
You can't be fearful and grateful at the same time. You can't be angry and grateful at the same time. If you want to step out of suffering, find something that you're grateful for and you're out of it. Yeah.
I love it. So in that journey of finding gratefulness, changing your perspective, you know, finding positive words, did you discover that while writing your book? Because it did take you about 7 years, am I right?
Yeah,
to complete
actually,
it?
truthfully, close to a decade. And basically, I didn't want to write a book. I was journaling to get myself out of what I was in, that amount of pain that I was in. And as I was journaling, it came up to a whole lot of journals, I think close to 100 journals. And one day when I was looking back, I said, if I were to compile this and like get it really down to point form and like really just the amount of brevity that I wanted to, it'd be a really great book. And that's how the book came about. It's really my journals and the best of what I've learned. Yeah.
Okay. And you just felt that it was your obligation to share it with the world because of what you have gone through, and you really think that this would be beneficial for your readers.
Yeah, this book was a must. It wasn't something where I thought, should I release it, should I not? It's just so good. The stuff, I mean, it's not my stuff. It's, you know, it's 500 books that I've read.
Okay.
And the best of the best. And, you know, I grew up listening to the Beatles, so my standards are really high.
Okay.
It's not about being the best in Malaysia or the best in Asia. It's about being the world's best. So what I put in my book is the world's best. You're getting the world's greatest worldly advice. And it's not my stuff. It's the best of the best. And I've put it down, and really, it's only over 100 pages. And I really felt that I needed to share this because it was just it was so helpful to me and hundreds of thousands of people that I've seen as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. It's giving me, I don't know if you've watched Jonah Hill's documentary on
Yeah,
mental health.
it was amazing.
Yeah,
On
that
Stutz,
was amazing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love it. So it's giving me the same vibe, and I hope that our audiences at home who do read Make History, you know, you'll have a change of perspective, and hopefully your mental health journey will be improved, and you know, you'll just have a happier life at the end of the day, a more content, happy and successful life. So with that, any last words to our audiences who want to check out your book or who want to purchase your book?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Your social media channels as well.
Yeah, you can follow me in Nova and JC, but I think more importantly, if you're listening right now, you have to understand that you have more resources than most of the planet. You have to understand that 3 billion people on this planet have no access to the internet. Can you imagine not having access to the internet?
I lived through the 90s. I did not have access to the internet. What
You're
are
right,
you
you're right.
talking about?
But the amount of advantages that you
Yeah,
have
of
with
course.
the internet.
With the internet,
Over
correct.
3 billion people don't have it. Over 2 billion people live on less than 8 ringgit a day, which is less than $3. If you want to move forward, give back.
Yeah.
If you've lost a job, help someone who's lost a child.
Definitely.
If you feel like you don't have enough money, talk to someone who's homeless.
Yep.
And you will feel a sense of gratitude, and you can give back.
Lovely.
So if you want to move
Alright.
forward, give back.
Cool.
Yeah.
You guys just Google up,
Make
Google
History.
up or guess in over JC. You know, you can find his book down there. Have a purchase, have a read, because we do want to, hear about it as well. That's it for now. Thank you so much, man,
Thank
for
you
coming
so
on
much,
to the show.
guys. Thanks for
It has
having
been
me.
very insightful. It's been very
Exactly.
great.